Hey guys, what's up? Shin0525 coming at you with another video. And today's video, I have to do it. We have to talk about the Switch 2. But before we talk about Switch 2, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. That really helps me out. And I appreciate the support. But anyway, the Switch 2 finally got officially announced. And we got our Direct on it. And there's a lot of good stuff about it. But I have a bunch of mixed feelings with it. But some of the good. I like the Switch 2. The Switch was a great handheld console hybrid. That was a fantastic idea. And I'm glad they are just doing a Switch 2 and not doing something drastically different. And I've said this before, Nintendo really shot themselves in the foot with the Switch, because now every single console they make going forward has to be a hybrid console and handheld at like all the time. They can't go back to just making consoles anymore. It's just never gonna work, because as soon the next time they make just a console that plugs into your TV that you can't take with you, it is a downgrade and it is gonna do badly. But I think the Switch 2 is actually gonna have a lot of problems. So, the Direct was really good. I think the Direct was solid. You got a lot of information. They were pretty concise with it. And my thoughts on the Switch 2 are, I think it's going to be a good console. Nintendo always makes good quality products. I can't knock them for that. So I think the hardware and the way the game plays and all that stuff is going to be good. And I think they're going to have a solid lineup of games. The new Donkey Kong Country... Honestly, I'm not that excited for it. I've never played Donkey Kong 64, even though I've really wanted to for years. I just haven't found the time to sit down and play it. So even before I get the new Donkey Kong Country, I have to play Donkey Kong 64. So again, it's not a game I'm excited about. And to be perfectly honest with you, I really don't like the look of it either. I think what it is like, it reminds me of Yooka-Laylee. It has that very cartoony, boxy looking like kind of design, and even the way like DK's designed, it just reminds me of Yooka-Laylee, and I think my brain associates that like graphical style with disappointment. So again, like right off the bat, looking at that trailer, I'm not very impressed by it, but I know a lot of people are excited about it. So that Mario Kart World, again, I don't like Mario Kart. I do like kart racers. I know Mario Kart kind of like invented the genre, but I always think Mario Kart is the weakest out of all the kart racers. I like Crash Team Racing better than any Mario Kart game. I like Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing better than any Mario Kart game. I think Mario Kart is probably one of the worst kart racers on the market, in my opinion. I just don't like that series. I do like the fact that, and I've been saying this for years, is I always wanted a leisurely drive mode where instead of racing, you can kind of just freely drive wherever you wanted, and they're finally doing that. I can't believe they're doing that. So that actually looks pretty cool, but other than that, again, Mario Kart is not a game that I'm excited about. And, what other games are they making? I know they're having, like, their own, like, fucking Bloodborne sequel game or whatever it is. Again, I hate Dark Souls and Soulsborne games in general. So again, that's a game I don't give a shit about. So again, it's one of those things where it's like, I watch the Nintendo Direct, and me personally, there's really nothing there that makes me want to go out and buy a Switch 2. Especially on day one. And I think that's going to be a real problem for them going forward, is they just don't have any games that are like system sellers for me. And, yeah, like, I don't give a shit about Mario Kart. I don't give a shit about the new Donkey Kong game. I don't... Like, I know Metroid Prime 4 is coming out, and it's like, I haven't played Metroid Prime 1, 2, or 3 yet. So again, it's just like, that's a game, like, I honestly just don't care about right now. So all in all, it's just like, they really don't have anything, especially day one, to make me want to go get a Switch. Or a Switch 2. So for me personally, and I think for a lot of people, I think, like, Mario Kart would sell, like, a few units. But again, it's like, I don't see Mario Kart World being that, like, major system seller. Like, for the Switch 1, it's like you had Breath of the Wild as a launch title. And it was just like, yeah, that's a system. I will go buy a system to play that game. and especially when the Switch 1 came out, it's like, yeah, no, day one, for me, easy. And I did buy my Switch on day one. But again, I don't see, like, Mario Kart being that, like, system seller. I know it's, like, the best-selling, like, Switch game, but it's, like, I feel like I bought that game mainly because it's just, like, I had the Switch, there really wasn't a lot to play on it year one, and it was just, like, I might as well get Mario Kart for it. And I think that's the reason why a lot of people bought Mario Kart. I think it's the reason why it's one of the best-selling Nintendo Switch games. It's just because, like, I bought the Switch, I might as well get the Mario Kart game for it. Like, but I don't think it's, like, a super strong launch title, is what I'm trying to get at. So, I think they're gonna have problems with that. And, honestly, and let's talk about pricing, because that's, like, the major issue that everybody has with it. I think the console is priced fairly reasonably. I don't think it's too outrageous. It's like, I think they were charging something like $600-700 for it. Forget it. Not worth it. Absolutely not. But I think the $450 is a solid price range for a new console like that. I don't think the price of the Switch is that big of a deal. But what does suck is if you're going to buy the Switch and buy, like, the other controller for it, the fucking camera for it, you're looking at probably like a $600-700 console at that point. Like, the Switch can be crazy. Like, Switch 2 looks to be very expensive. Because again, it's like you probably want a second controller, which is the Joy-Cons that you're going to need to get with it. I have no idea how much they're going to cost. And if you want that, like, camera that goes with it, all like the extra peripherals and things like that, get the carrying case, the screen protector, you are looking at like a $600-700 console at that point. That is very expensive. But I think if you're just getting like the base model Switch, I think that's pretty fine. But again, it is a very expensive console for what it is. And with that being said, I think a big downfall that Nintendo's not factoring into their calculations is how saturated the market is right now with these handheld consoles. And I'm mainly talking about the Steam Deck. And I think this is a point that I haven't heard anyone make yet, is the fact that the Steam Deck exists, and that is definitely going to impact the Switch 2 sales. Because since the Switch 2, it's like, oh, we can play games like Cyberpunk, and we get, like, Elden Ring. It's like, that's great, but I can play those games on a Steam Deck, too. And they play better on the Steam Deck. And the games aren't as expensive on the Steam Deck than they are the Switch. I guarantee you the Switch versions of those games are going to be like $60-70. Hands down. But if you got a Steam Deck and playing the Steam versions, Cyberpunk goes on sale every other weekend. Like, I constantly see that game being on sale. It's always on the front page. It always has some sort of deal. And it's just like, okay, yeah, I could pay $30, probably like $30-ish dollars, to get Cyberpunk 2099 on my Steam Deck that will run at 60 frames per second, look better, play better. And on the Switch 2, it only runs at 40 frames per second. And then if you're playing in handheld, they said it's going to run around 20 frames per second. So again, it's like I could play a $60 handheld version of Cyberpunk on a Steam Deck. And I think a lot of people are going to think that way. And I think Nintendo's kind of banking on that, like, rebuy factor that the Switch had. But since the market, like, when the Switch 1 came out, the market wasn't saturated with a bunch of other options. So it's like, yeah, I had no problem buying my games again on Switch because that was the only way to play them on a handheld version. So I had no problem rebuying, you know, Resident Evil or waiting for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot to come out on the Switch so I could play the handheld version of this. But now with things like the Steam Deck out there, I can get a better handheld version and probably cheaper too. And that's the big downfall of the Switch 2 is the price of the games. Like, I really hope Mario Kart World doesn't do well because people aren't willing to pay $80 for a digital game. That is ridiculous. Mario Kart is not an $80 worth game. It's just not. I'm sorry. Even though it might be the most expensive game Nintendo ever made, it is not worth $80. A kart racer is not worth an $80 download. It's just not. In fact, that game should be $39.99 for a kart racer. We're not talking about a major Mario game. We're not talking about a major Zelda game. We are talking about a kart racing game. That's a discount title. I don't care how good it is. I cannot stomach paying full price for a kart racer. I just can't see it. And the fact that it's $80, and the fact that I'm surprised more people aren't talking about it, is like the physical game situation where the actual game for Mario Kart World, if you buy the cartridge, it's $90, and you're not even getting the game on the cartridge. You are getting like a key code that's built in the cartridge, and then when you put it in, it downloads the game from like the eShop, and then if you want to play that version of the game, you need that key card with the key for that downloadable version. So you're basically getting a shittier downloadable version when you're buying a actual cartridge of the game. And now I get it, Nintendo's paranoid about piracy and emulation and things like that. We saw that with how they went after Yuzu and Sudachi and Switch emulation in general. I get that they're paranoid about piracy. But taking away ownership is not the way to solve this. Because that's basically their solution, is like, okay, we're afraid you're going to pirate our games, so what we're going to do is not let you own them. Basically, you're going to buy the license for them, we're going to let you download it, play it that way, but you're going to play it on our terms and our... And it's just like, that's bullshit. That is bullshit. And it's bullshit because 20 years from now, in 2045... will you even be able to play Mario Kart World when they shut down the servers for the Switch 2? Will you be able to play it? Probably not. And that's the fucking scary thing. And we're getting to a point in the gaming industry where you just aren't going to be able to own your games. And I don't want to play games that I can't play in the future. Knowing that a game won't be around like 10, 20 years down the line makes me not want to get into it at all. I have like that feeling of like the best way to win is to not play. And that's the feeling that I get from the Switch too. It's just not good. I'm not excited for it. I'm not personally, I've been boycotting Nintendo ever since they went after emulation, so I've been not buying Nintendo stuff. But I'm not going to get a Switch 2. There's no reason for me to get a Switch 2. And it's just like, it is cool that they're bringing GameCube on their, like, Game Pass thing, whatever. But even that's not that big for me because I have devices like my Odin 2 Mini, where I can already play Wind Waker at higher resolutions with HD textures and save states and retro achievements, and I could use cheat codes for it. So I already have a better version of Wind Waker than you can provide with your online service. So again, I'm not excited for the GameCube. And again, it's because these like small Android-based handhelds exist. So again, you're late on that too. So a lot of like what the Switch 2 is providing is just kind of already outdated. It's like I have better options for that stuff. I have better options to play retro GameCube games and all the retro catalog, really. And I could pick the games that I want to have on it on my Odin 2. I don't have to wait for you to tell me what games I can play. So, yeah, it's just annoying. And I think that's a big problem for Nintendo, is like, yeah, the Switch 2, it's a great... I bet it's going to be a great console. I think it's going to work fine. It's going to have great games. But they're not factoring in, there's better options already. Like, especially with the price of the Switch, I could get a Steam Deck. And again, $50 less than the Switch, I can get an Odin 2 Portal Pro. Like, the best version of the AYN Odin Portal. And it's like, then I can play literally everything except, like, modern Switch 2 titles. Like, I could probably emulate PS3 in a couple months. They'll probably get the PS3 emulator working for Android, so I can play PS3 games, PS2, GameCube, Wii, Switch, all on the Odin 2 Portal, and it's $50 less than your console. And again, the mouse functionality of the Switch 2 isn't that great either when you think about it, because like, I have a dock for my Steam Deck. I could just plug a mouse into my Steam Deck. Like, it's not that big of an advantage. It's not a game changer. And I think the Switch 2 is really going to suffer because of how saturated the market is. This isn't 2017 when the Switch was the only option to play console games portably. There are so many other options now, and I don't think the Switch 2 is going to be able to, like, survive as well. And there's also, like, that weird what is it, pattern that, like, the Nintendo consoles have, where you have, like, the Nintendo 64 did great, the GameCube underperformed, the Wii did great, the Wii U underperformed, the Switch did great. Now, following that up and down pattern, the Switch 2 is probably going to underperform. And that's my prediction for it. And honestly, I think it's probably the best thing, because Nintendo is getting greedy. Thinking Mario Kart World is worth $80 digitally is ridiculous. And Nintendo should take a hit for it. So again, I have my reservations about the Switch 2. I don't think it's going to be as good as, or do as well. I think it's going to be a good console, and if you buy it, it probably will be worth the money, and you will get a good quality product. But I don't think it's going to perform as well as Nintendo's hoping. Because I'm not getting it, the Switch 2. A few people that I watch on YouTube aren't getting it, like DG 2009. She says she's not getting a Switch 2. I know Retro Reviews, he's still getting a Switch 2, but he's not buying Mario Kart World because of the $80 price tag for a digital game. So again, it's like, these are the people that you should, like, all the people that make, like, YouTube videos on video games, like myself, like Retro Review, DG, all these other people, we should be the ones most excited for it. And the videos I'm seeing, it's just like, yeah, it looks good, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm really not going to do it. So, anyway, guys, those are all of my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. Other than that, yeah, I'm not getting it, especially because of the ownership. The fact that, like, they think, like, oh, you shouldn't have the physical game on the cartridge, that bothers the shit out of me. And I just won't buy your console at all. Like, again, I truly believe it's a situation where the best way to win is just to not play. So, yeah, anyway, guys, those are my thoughts on it. And, yeah, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks, bye. Later.